We're stacking it to the rafters for the winter ahead. Hey guys, it's Jara with Wicked Prepared. Welcome to the channel. Today I've got another Prepper Pantry haul for you. This is a time of year when many people are thinking about anything and everything but preparedness. But it's a great time of year to think about others and giving the gift of preparedness. It's also a great time of year for stocking up on certain pantry staples and other items at the lowest prices of the year. Let's get started and I'll talk a little bit more about that as I show you what we're stocking up on right now and why. Stay tuned because after I show you the goods, I'm going to taste test and demo some of the new items I picked up and tell you what I think about them. Let's get started. All right, I'm going to start over here with this stuff. And first I've just got this little lighter that I found when I was doing some like holiday discount shopping, Black Friday shopping. I thought this was really cool and it was a good price. So it just opens up and it's an electric lighter. I have never had anything like this before. So it just charges. You can see that it charges USB charging and you just push the little button and it lights. It's got all kinds of cool features. It is waterproof. And it's got a lanyard and all kinds of stuff. So I will put a link down below where I found this because I thought it was a Black Friday sale, but it is still on sale. So I think it's on sale until they're gone. And there's actually a whole bunch of really cool things on that site as well. So I'll put that down below. And next I've got these Kraft mac and cheese. Kraft has been coming out with all of these different limited edition flavors. So all sorts of different flavors. We've had ranch, jalapeno, barbecue, pizza flavored, everything bagel flavored. And then I saw these hot honey. This is the latest flavor that I saw. So I just like to grab these and taste test them and try them out. I have loved mac and cheese, obviously Kraft mac and cheese my whole life, like a lot of people. It's not something I eat a whole lot anymore, but I do still have teenagers. So we usually do have mac and cheese in the house. So I wanted to give this flavor a try. And next I've got, this is a heated jacket. So heated outerwear is really a good thing to have for emergency preparedness. If you have a power outage in the winter and you're stuck in the cold, or if you are in your car, you're driving somewhere, you get stranded, stuck in the cold, it's really good to have some gear to keep you warm. So heated outerwear has a battery pack and then it has a heating system that warms up throughout the garment. So I had a heated jacket that I got either last year or the year before, and I did really like it, but by the end of last year, it had a tear in the sleeve, the outside fabric of the sleeve, and I could just see how thin that fabric was. I had just gotten it on Amazon. It was so thin that there's no way I could even really repair it. So I thought, going with a better known sort of outdoor gear brand was probably a better bet. So this has a graphene heating system. It's not a terribly heavy or thick coat, and that's actually really a good thing because this can go through a lot more seasons and a lot more temperatures and a lot more climates. It's useful for a lot of things because as a jacket on its own, without the heating element, it's not terribly thick or heavy. The sizing runs really, really good. Like I got myself the size I thought would fit, and it fits me perfectly like a glove right to my body, which is really important with your heated outerwear. You want to have it close to your body. I learned that lesson with the first heated jacket I ever got. I got it really sort of big and oversized, like I tend to get things. And I found that if I needed extra layers, I was layering underneath, and that was moving that heat further away from my body. And I was not feeling the heat. And it was sort of just putting that heat to the outside atmosphere and not into my body. So it's much better to have your heated layer very close to your body with just a thin layer underneath. And then if you need extra layers, you put them on top. So that would be perfect with this. This is a water resistant fabric, not waterproof like a raincoat, but water resistant. It will shed water. It does have some breathable layers as well. So it can work for warmer weather as well if you don't turn on the heat. But then if it cools off, you can turn on the heat. You don't need to be, layering on and off your layers as much. The way that this one works is you just hold down this little button in the front and it will come on and it'll sort of flash red and blue, and then it goes to a solid red, which is high. And then if you want to go to low temperature, you just click it once and it goes to blue, and that's going to be low temperature. It does have the thumb holes so that you can keep your hands, the sleeves down to your hands. And it has this kind of interesting feature that I had never seen before. So it has a little snap here. And if you open this little snap, there's actually a little glove like hand cover thing stuck in here. And this pulls out and you can slip your fingers into these finger holes, and this will cover up your fingers, and it just gives a little bit of extra warmth that's built right into the jacket. It's not a thick glove, but if you forgot your gloves or mittens or you didn't think you'd need them, you just have that right there to pull in and out. I thought that was really cool. This has a graphene heating system. I don't know if I mentioned that. And it comes with a really high capacity battery. Now the battery pack in this one is right in the center of the back, down low. And I do like that because the other jackets I've had, it's been on one side or the other, kind of behind the pocket. And it makes me feel lopsided with the weight of the battery. So I'm always trying to tuck my phone in the other pocket to sort of make it feel more balanced. So I do like that this one is centered in the back. I was a little bit worried that it was going to bother me if I had to sit down. So I have worn this, tested it driving in my car, and it really didn't bother me. It kind of just adjusted to just the right spot in my back, and it was almost like a little lumbar support for a few minutes. And then after that, I didn't even notice it. So it did not bother me. It zips into the pocket here. I believe you can choose from a couple of different battery pack types. Like there's a higher capacity one or a lower capacity one. It zips right into the pocket. The jacket has zippered pockets, which is really, really important for me because I'm always carrying things like my phone, keys, cash, things like that in my jacket pockets. And it also had zippered chest pockets. So this I'm really, really excited about. Like I said, heated outerwear is really important to have if you live in any place that it can get cold at all. If the power goes out in the winter, you can use this and you're going to be keeping yourself warm. You can recharge it with a generator or a solar power station or your vehicle or anything like that. It just charges up like any other battery pack. And you can, of course, also get extra battery packs to stash. And these do make great gifts. I have given my daughter heated outerwear, Mr. Wicked Prepared, of course. So great thing to have. I will have a discount link for you down below if you want to check out this company. I actually noticed that I think with all the discounts they give, I think it ends up being probably about the same price or maybe even less than the one that I got on Amazon. That was a lot less quality. Back here, I've got some boxes of canning jars from Azure Standard. I was really, really excited about this. I have gotten jars from Azure Standard for a while now, ever since they came out with jars. They've been coming out with new sizes. So they came out with the 1.5 pints, which Ball had discontinued. Super, super exciting. Now they've come out with a 3/4 pint. So this is like the Ball tall jelly jar, which has been discontinued and you can't find it anymore. So sometimes it's really neat to have these in between sizes. If one size is kind of, too small and one size is too big. I love these tall jelly jars. I'm going to show you the different sizes because Azure has a really good selection of sizes right now. And I love their jars and I'll show you why. So here is all the sizes of regular mouth jars here. And then here's all the sizes of the wide mouth jars with the exception of the half gallon. I don't have a half gallon up here, but so this is the 3/4 pint that I just got from Azure. And they also just came out with a half pint. So I do have half pint and you can get half pint in Ball and other brands, but I did get some of the Azure ones just so that they would match. So this is the one size that I don't think Azure has come out with yet. So this is a 1/4 pint, a little mini jelly jar. This is the regular jelly jar, half pint. This is the 3/4 pint tall jelly jar. So this is a 1.25 pints in the regular mouth. And then this is the 1.5 pints. So this is the one I had never seen before. I got a case of these. Azure's had these for a while. I have a lot of their 1.5 pints wide mouth. I love these 1.5 pints wide mouth. This is not Azure, it's Ball, but I do have a lot of Azure ones. So this is halfway between a 1.25 pints and it's wide mouth. So this one is awesome because you can put tall, like skinny things in it, like maybe pickled asparagus or just canned asparagus if you want to have it, leave them long, the pieces long. Lots of things like that. Some people like these because they are halfway in between a 1.25 pints and a quart. And for some families, a pint is not quite enough, but a quart is a little too much. So, but I had never seen the regular mouth 1.5 pints until Azure came out with it. I don't know if Ball ever made a jar like that. So you can see this is the regular mouth pint. This is the regular mouth quart. This is right in between. So I now have one case of these. I'm not really sure what I would really use these for. That's why I only got one. I just wanted to see it. I just wanted to show you guys. I will probably mostly use the wide mouth 1.5 pints. But I was really excited to see Azure Standard come out with this 3/4 pint jar because you can't get this anymore as far as I'm aware from Ball or any other company that I'm aware of. But I love canning jars. Canning jars are really important to have for preparedness because it's one of the kind of most low-tech ways that you can preserve your food, number one, with canning. And you can also store a lot of dry goods in mason jars. They give you the best sort of airtight seal. They are rodent-proof. They are insect-proof. They're great for all of those things. We make meals in a jar in them. There's all sorts of things that we do with our mason jars. So they're super, super important. And I Love them and have a ton of them. A couple things I like about the Azure Standard jars that I was going to tell you is their printing is not, it doesn't bump out. It kind of bumps in. So if you like to put labels on the front of your jars like I do, you're not going to have your labels kind of bumping up over this printing like you do with a Ball jar and other jars. I really liked when Ball used to make these plain jars with no printing on them, except this little teeny bit down here, but I'm not sure they make these anymore. Another thing about Azure Standard is they come with superb lids, which are really, really high quality lids. They also sell their jars two ways. They sell them with lids and bands, and they sell them without lids and bands. So if you already have way too many lids and bands and you don't need them, you can pay less for just the jars. And I like that as well. So this time I got just these without the lids because it was like a $5 price difference. Usually it's a good price to get the lids and bands too. I've done the math on some of them and it's cheaper to get them on the jars than it is to buy the same amount of lids and bands separately. But in this case, it seemed like a really big price difference. These were on sale because they're a new product. I'm not sure if they're still on sale, but it's a case of 12 and I think it was around 10 something, which I thought was a really good deal, especially for a jar that is so hard to find that you can't really find anymore. Another thing about Azure's jars is that they come in a box that goes all the way up and it's divided and everything. So you can store the jars in the box and stack the boxes and everything. And it's really, really just, they're really nice. Every single detail about them is amazing. I had actually been looking for these 3/4 pint tall jelly jars for a while. I have some. I found like 5 cases a couple of years ago before they got discontinued. I lucked out, but I don't have a ton. So I actually was thinking of moving a lot of my spices and seasonings and certain powder storage into these jars because I love seasonings, love spices, things like that. I have tons of them. They're all in their random different jars and bottles they come in and they're just thrown into bins. And I really want something just neater and more uniform. So I had thought about doing jars like these, and then depending on how much of the seasoning I have, I could use taller jars, regular jars, or small ones. I really hope Azure comes out with little jelly jars like this, little 1/4 pint jars, because I'd like it to be all uniform. I will put links down below to these jars and Azure Standard where you can go and set up an account if you don't have one already. It's a really, really awesome company. I will show you, I have a video all about how you shop there that I can put down below as well. It's really kind of a cool process, so go check them out. Another thing I got from Azure was this bag of activated charcoal. They've got all kinds of stuff like this, really good prices. This is really good to have on hand in your like first aid medical supplies, for things like poisoning, for detoxifying, things like that. It also has uses in, you know, skincare, beauty, personal care. If you make any of your own products like that, this is a really good thing to have on hand. Next, I got some seasoning and condiments that I'm really, really excited to try. I've been wanting to try these for a long time. These were not even available in the US until very, very recently. And these, I've got a few of these. I have a friend in Canada who's always posting about using these in different recipes and things with them, and I really wanted to try them. So finally they're available to us in the US. So I was really excited, and these are some I was really waiting for. So Oso onion, Oso garlic, and Oso celery. I thought those sounded really, really good. And the celery, like I've had a lot of people ask if I'm going to do a cream of celery soup mix, like I've done, you know, cream of mushroom, cream of chicken. So this I think would be a really, really good ingredient to put in there. And then this jalapeno ranch dill pickle sounds amazing, right up my alley. My friend actually said this is her favorite. And then I actually really like the sound of this also, this lemony dill seasoning. This I think would be so good on like salmon and seafood. It could also be good in like cucumber salad and all kinds of different things. But look at this here. Hot pepper bacon jam. I have been dying to try this. I love pepper jelly and I love bacon. So to me, this is probably going to be absolutely amazing. And I think with the holidays coming up, between like gifts and gift baskets, but also entertaining appetizers, like this is probably amazing over some cream cheese with just some crackers. Hostess gifts, things like that. I'm so excited to try this. And then I'll probably be ordering a lot more of these before Christmas. And then this is a dill pickle mustard. Can you tell I love dill and dill pickle flavored things? I just got a dill pickle cream cheese at Walmart, cream cheese spread that I think is something new. That's amazing. Of course, it's not shelf stable, so it's not a Prepper Pantry item, so I don't have it here. And then I also got these two dessert and dip mixes because they sounded really, really cool. Like I love artichoke anything. So creamy Parmesan and artichoke dip mix. And you can also use these for different things like recipes. So I'm going to be looking up some of the recipes I've seen people using these in. And then this one I know my daughter would have a lot of fun with. Chocolate chip cookie dough dip and dessert mix. So this is something she can throw together really easy on her own for like a cheer party or something like that. So excited about those. One thing I do love about these is that they all will tell you they've got a ton of gluten-free stuff, and they'll all tell you on there, you know, the stuff that is gluten-free. And some of it is also sodium-free, and it will tell you on there. So like this one is a no sodium. It'll tell you if it's no sodium. And someplace there's a list of all the no sodium items. So super, super excited to try some of these. Like I mentioned, I love seasonings. I love, love, love things like this. Can't wait to try these out in some recipes. Oh, and one more seasoning hiding back here. This is something I just found at Target. So I thought this was just cool. It's just like a little seasoning dispenser that's got pizza seasoning. So it's got garlic and oregano, Italian herbs, Italian blend. Not sure what the difference is between those. This has salt and stuff in it. And crushed red pepper. So you could put this on the table when you're having pizza, pasta, anything like that. I thought this was just really cool. I'm a sucker for things like this. Next, I've got some new freeze-dried items that we have been really, really excited to try. This has been highly anticipated. Well, these are not new items. These are ones we've had before. Actually, I don't think we've tried the banana before, but my daughter is a huge fan of freeze-dried bananas when we used to get them from Thrive Life. So I wanted to try these. This freeze-dried coconut, though, is amazing. Everybody loves the freeze-dried coconut, and this is like Mr. Wicked Prepared's favorite thing. It's just pure coconut. It's not like doesn't have sugar added. It's literally just coconut freeze-dried. It's going to be great for snack mixes and things like that. And then I got some more of these. I actually got multiple bags of all of these, but I only put one of each up here because they take up a lot of space. But I got several bags of these blueberries, and then I found a box that I forgot about afterwards, and I had a really big bag. So I didn't need them all. But these, when we first tried them, because we have tried them, they were super, super tart, and we were thinking we didn't really like them that much till we found out it's because they're actually wild blueberries. And so knowing what we know about wild blueberries and all of the nutritional benefits and just how much sort of better they are than the big cultivated ones, I got really excited about them. So for things like smoothies, for things like desserts, for like blueberry muffin mixes and stuff, I really like the little teeny wild blueberries in those a lot better. And here are the new items. So the freeze-dried lemon slices is something that was really, really highly anticipated. A lot of people were waiting for these. Of course, you're not going to probably just snack on a lemon slice. Most people wouldn't do that, but these are great for things like drinks, to put in your soda, if you drink soda, to put in your water, to put in your tea. I am thinking they are going to be really great for like laying on top of seafood before it's baked, stuffing inside of a chicken cavity when you're baking a chicken, things like that. Really excited about this. They could also be powdered, but I think I would probably just tend to buy lemon powder rather than buy slices and powdering them, and then just get the slices and use them for whole uses. And then these are freeze-dried figs. This is something I had not tried before. I remember my mom having figs when I was a little kid, and I remember eating them. I think they were probably dried figs, like dehydrated. I don't think they were fresh. I am not sure. I don't know if I've ever had a fresh fig, but freeze-dried figs, we're excited to try. And then we've got this seasoned corn. So this is a sriracha seasoned corn. So that is going to be like a good snacking item, hopefully. Freeze-dried sugar snap peas. So these are the 4 new items that they just came out with. So this is my first order of these. So I'm really, really excited to try them. I will probably test some of these out for you here at the end of the video. If you want to check any of these items out, I do have a coupon code. It's just my name, Jara. And it's usually worth only 5%, but right now it's actually worth 15%, and you can use it on anything on the whole site. So that's pretty exciting. So you can go check that out. I'll have a link down below, and I'll put it on the screen as well, because I know some people have a hard time accessing the description. And then in addition to my coupon that you can use for 15% off of anything right now, there's also a pack on sale that includes the freeze-dried coconut, which is one of our absolute favorite items. And it also includes a couple of our other favorites, mangoes and pineapple. So it's a tropical pack. So this time of year, that is just awesome. Get a little taste of the tropics. It's a multi-pack. It's already on sale, 15% off. And then you can stack my coupon with that for an extra 15% off. So I will have a link down below. I'll put it on the screen as well for those of you who don't know how to find the video description. And if you want to go check that out, and feel free to use my coupon, use my discount link, and take advantage of that sale. Now, next I got these pastas back here. I've got 8 boxes of these pastas. If you're a regular viewer, you probably or possibly remember when I found one box of these. I got one box of these. They came out with these in the fall, Walmart. This is their Better Goods brand. They're these little pumpkin-shaped pastas, and they're in like a fall-themed box. I bought one box, and I was going to go back for more, and lo and behold, I forgot all about it. And by the time I remembered, they were all completely sold out of them. So I was searching. I could find them at stores that were like 45 minutes away, but honestly, I have not had time to go drive 45 minutes for some boxes of pasta. So I just had my one sad, lonely box of pasta. Like, I do everything kind of in a big way. So I didn't even know what to do with one box of pasta. So I was so surprised. I was walking through the store the other day, and I found 8 of these lonely boxes of pasta, marked down to 49 cents on clearance. So they must have found them just stashed in the back somewhere in the store or something, because my store had been out of them for probably months. I was so excited about this. Of course, I grabbed every box that was there. And 49 cents for a pound of pasta is a really good price for pasta, regardless of what shape it's in. So I was really excited to find this. Now I can put it in a canister. One box was not enough to put in a canister. I just sort of didn't even really know what to do with it. So I'm really excited. Now I have these plus the one box that I bought before. So now I'm super happy. Next, I've got some nutritional things. It's really important to make sure that your nutrition is on par for like emergencies and stuff like that. Your health, your nutrition, you want to make sure that you have plenty of the things that you need and that you use. So this is a shake that Mr. Wicked Prepared and I both use. It's kind of like a protein shake, but it's not a super high protein. It's actually to help control your blood sugar. And it really, really works really, really well. I convinced him to start taking it, and he's been amazed. Like, it just helps keep away that kind of hangry feeling, and it lets us kind of go longer without needing to eat. And then when we do eat, we're making healthier choices, and it really keeps your blood sugar stable and helps with that kind of crash that you get after you eat something that's maybe not so good. So this is cinnamon roll flavor and vanilla flavor. You'll notice I get a lot of these things that I get from the wellness store. I get a lot of them in pairs of 2, because you can get a discount getting them in pairs of 2. So these have been absolutely great, like kind of life-changing for Mr. Wicked Prepared, because really, really changed his whole eating habits throughout the day and works really well for him. He actually he was drinking chocolate, and then he tried strawberry, and he likes that the best. But I wanted to get some other flavors this time. I like the cinnamon roll in the fall and winter. And if I mix anything in to my shake, like sometimes I'll mix in like my Ruby shakes or something like that. If I mix something like this in because it's fruit flavored, I want to put it in vanilla. I don't want to put it in something like chocolate or cinnamon, or caramel creme brulee is actually probably my favorite flavor. And I think it's really a good idea, especially if you use things like this regularly, to have at least an extra kind of month supply on hand. And protein shakes of whatever kind can be a good thing to have in your prepper pantry. They can be like a meal replacement. They can be sort of a supplement to a meal. They can give you some of the nutrition that you might be lacking or missing if you are eating completely out of your prepper pantry. It can just kind of be a little bit of an added insurance. And next I've got these. These are basically like part of a gut health package. I think it's called Gut Health. So this has FiberWise, which is amazing, amazing, amazing. This is fiber. It helps with your digestive system. It helps with your immune system, all kinds of things. I get the berry for Mr. Wicked Prepared, but I actually drink the unflavored one, which I guess is kind of weird. I don't know if anybody else does that. This is actually kind of meant for baking. Like, you can add fiber into things that you cook and bake, like waffles and muffins, it shows. But it does give instructions on it for drinking, I think. So I think it's okay. I just want to avoid the little tiny bit of extra carbs that's in the flavored ones. So I just drink this. It's fine for me. It just really has no flavor. But it really does amazing, amazing things for your system, for your digestion, for your gut health. It's been amazing. And then for the gut health package, it also has probiotics. Actually, we get the probiotics with our supplements, so we don't necessarily need to get them separately, but these good zymes, which is basically digestive enzymes, this is helping you digest your food better. And I will show you a little bit later how amazing this stuff works. So this is just a digestive enzyme supplement that is really, really fantastic. And you can get this all together as a bundle. Like I said, we get the probiotics bundled with our multivitamins. So this is the multivitamin packs that we take, the Peak Performance. These are awesome. So these are AM and PM packs. I have a ton of people ask where I get my vitamin packs when I show these, because I do put these into like bug out bags and stuff. I'll put a pack into my bug out bag. If I make little homemade MRE packs, I will throw a daily vitamin pack into it. They're great for travel. They're great for all kinds of things. So it has an AM pack that you open, and there's a bunch of different supplements in there. And then in the evening, you take the PM. So it's all kind of designed to have you take them at the most optimum time for your body and for your, to absorb them and for them to work together. And what I found over time is that there's some different levels of these supplements. And what I found is when I end up getting, I think it's the Total Health one here, has basically the maximum amount of supplements included. So some of the supplements that I was buying and taking separately are actually included in the packs when I got the higher up pack. And that means I have to buy less extra things and take less extra things. So we love these. We feel so good when we take these. It helps our hair. It helps our health. It helps our immunity and everything. So these are great for travel. So easy to just throw, count how many days we're going to be gone. And I take that many packs and put them in our bag and pack them. Totally, totally awesome. And then up here, I've got, this is a bunch of these Lily's. It's a whole bunch of these, actually. These Lily's dark chocolate covered almonds. So Lily's is like a sugar-free sort of sweets company. They make chocolate and chocolate chips and things like that. I discovered these quite a while ago, and they're like a keto-friendly snack, and I love them. It's one of my favorite keto low-sugar snacks, and I eat them every single day. Now, I'll tell you, a serving size is 14 of these, and I literally have usually 3 or 4 at a time when I have one. That's all I need. So I don't even eat probably a full serving on any given day, even if I eat them 2 or 3 times during the day. But these are so, so yummy. And I was getting them on Amazon, and they were pretty expensive. And when I found that I was eating them so regularly, I went searching on the internet, and I found a much better deal at a store I'd never heard of before. It's called VitaCost. So I'll put a link down in the description for you, and maybe it'll pop up on the screen. They have really, really good deals on things like this, and they usually have coupons going on, like 20% off of food items or something like that. So I wait until I see a 20% off coupon, and I will buy enough bags of this, sometimes just this, to get free shipping, because their free shipping is, I can't remember what it is, maybe $59. So I will buy a whole bunch all at once. They always last, however many months it is before I use them up. But I've actually discovered that store has a lot of other food and drink items and stuff that I actually kind of like. So sometimes I will buy more than just the almonds, but these are one of my favorite sweet treats that fit into my way of eating. Next, I've got a bunch of different powdered egg products here. Now, this is probably going to become another video, but we all know that I loved Thrive Life's powdered eggs, their scrambled egg mix. They were the best eggs. Anybody who's tried them knows. They tasted just like real eggs. You would never even know. And that's what I loved about them is, you can get a lot of different powdered egg products, and they will work okay in baking if you need to replace an egg in a cake mix or, something like that. But then if you actually try to cook them into scrambled eggs or into an omelet or a frittata or something like that, they're pretty nasty. So to me, if I'm going to store an egg product, I want it to be one I can use for everything. So when Thrive Life closed down, I was so sad. But definitely, I found this Over Easy egg brand, which definitely stands in exactly the same as Thrive Life. So these are really awesome eggs. I've got a 2-pack here. That's just sort of the cheapest way that I've found to buy these. But I got thinking now, if you ever looked at the label on Thrive Life's eggs and you looked at their ingredients, it's basically all eggs. But it had this little phrase, glucose removed for stability. And so this brand does as well. And I think that's why these eggs are just as good as Thrive Life's. So then I noticed this brand on Amazon, and it says the same thing, glucose removed for stability. So it made me think that maybe these might be just as good, and maybe they're even produced by the same company and just packaged and labeled. I don't know. So I wanted to try these. So I thought I would get a bunch of different egg products and do a video sort of comparing and testing them all out and tasting them and seeing how they are. I want to see how they come out when they're cooked as scrambled eggs and eaten on their own, because that's what really matters to me, because many different products are going to do okay in baking, but you also want them to be able to taste good on their own so you can use them for more applications and you can just cook them up as eggs. So I got a couple of, I wasn't going to try every single brand on the market because there's a lot of them and they're all pretty expensive. So I didn't want to spend a small fortune. So I went with some of the brands that I like the brand. I've heard, or like they had good reviews and things like that. So I've got a couple of Judy's products here because I use a lot of Judy's products and I really like them. So I got Judy's dried whole eggs and scrambled egg mix. I'm not going to go into right now the differences on these two because like I said, I am going to do a whole video about this where I'll go into it more. So I got those two. And then I got this Eggylicious brand. I have gotten their egg yolk powder before. So I thought I would try their whole egg powder and scrambled egg powder. And then I did also get a Hoosier Hill Farms whole egg powder to try because I have used Hoosier Hill Farm products before in the past and enjoyed them. So these are all going to be in an upcoming video, and hopefully they're all pretty good to where I don't end up having to waste any of this product. Hopefully they're all good enough that I can use them for something in any case. Like I said, I should be able to use them in baking and things like that, even if I don't enjoy them as a scrambled egg product. A few more things here. So I've got a bag of beef jerky. We love beef jerky. This is a great item. Shelf-stable Prepper Pantry protein snack, but it's also a really good stocking stuffer as well for Christmas time. So we'll probably be getting a lot more beef jerky. This is a really good one. And then I got a bunch of these. I've got one up here. These, they're by the ramen brand, but they're actually a rice bowl. So I'm going to try one of these and see how this is, because it would be a super simple little quick and easy filling meal for somebody if they're any good. Mr. Wicked Prepared loves rice and the kids love ramen. So, you know, somebody hopefully will like this. And then these are a few Dollar Tree finds right here. So these cornbreads, these cinnamon churro cornbread, and Southwest style cornbread. So these are Old El Paso brand. And yes, these were actually at Dollar Tree. I was surprised because I have bought this cinnamon churro one at Walmart for probably close to $3, I think. And it was pretty good. So to find it for $1.25, I was pretty excited. So I got a few of them. This one does, it is good. Like I said, it has a pretty good sweet cinnamon flavor that kind of, you don't really taste the cornbread that much. That's what my kids said. They said, well, it really doesn't taste like cornbread, but they liked it. So for $1.25, I thought it would be another good thing to have. And this says just add water and egg. So really, you don't need a whole lot of ingredients. And you could even use a shelf-stable egg product. The Southwest style, I'd never seen this flavor. So this was something I was especially excited to try. It says mild spice, so it must have like a taco kind of flavor to it. So I'm excited to try that. And then these I found at Dollar Tree. So these are pretty small. They're like McCormick brand. I'd never seen these before, at least at my Dollar Tree. But they are a collapsible colander. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. So it's not super huge, but it's really handy that it can collapse flat. And then you've got this colander, whether it's for washing or rinsing produce or just straining some pasta or something like that. And being that it goes down, and being that it goes down flat, these are great for people who don't have a lot of space to store things. They could be great for like if you have a camp kitchen or an emergency kitchen box like we do. We have a lot of collapsible things because they just take up less space. They allow us to have things at the ready when we go camping, or if we have an emergency, we need to make a run for it. We can have some cooking implements with us. So these would be great for that. Back here, I've got a box. This is another thing that I like to get at Azure Standard. These are gamma lids for 5-gallon pails. So these are awesome. They kind of snap onto your pail. And then they have a twisty lid that twists on and off, and it has a gasket seal. So it's really like the best way to store your food in a 5-gallon bucket and be able to get in and out of it easily and have it be airtight, pest proof and all of that. And Azure Standard sells them, and they have a really good price if you buy them by a case of 12. So that's what I do. I buy a case of 12 at a time. And then anytime I need a new 5-gallon pail for some dry goods that I got, I go grab a lid, snap it on, and I'm good to go. And then up here, I found these at Walmart. I just happened to notice these recently. They're something new. They're single serve oyster crackers, which I thought was pretty cool. And I was hoping that they would work for like meals in a bag. If you've never seen my meals in a bag, it's basically everything you need for a whole entire meal in one bag, all shelf stable. Just grab the bag off the shelf and you have everything you need. So the thing about these though, once I got them home and checked them out, is that the expiration or best by date on these is about half as long as a regular big bag of oyster crackers. So it's probably only about 6 months out. So I don't think these would actually be as great of a solution as I thought they would be. It's better just to probably toss a full bag of oyster crackers if you want crackers in your meal in a bag. But hopefully these will be handy for lunches or snacks or something like that. And next I've got some baking items here. So this is a really good example of how certain times of the year it's a good time to buy certain things for your pantry. And right now, one of the items that's usually going to be on sale, have good prices, good deals, is going to be baking items because of holiday baking. And so I needed to restock my just regular white sugar. And I actually found a better deal buying these small bags. I usually never buy these small bags. I would buy a large bag, like a 20 or 25 pound bag, whatever it is. But because they had this small bag on sale or on rollback, it ended up being cheaper per ounce than the bigger bag I usually buy. So I just bought a bunch of these. In fact, I don't even think I got them all in from the car. And then pumpkin. This was marked down also, and I needed to restock this. My daughter's been going nuts with the pumpkin this fall. We always use a lot of pumpkin in the fall, but I taught her that little trick of mixing a can of pumpkin with a bag of chocolate chip cookie mix and making pumpkin chocolate chip cookie bars, 2-ingredient cookie bars. So she's been making those like crazy because everybody in the house loves them. So I had to restock the pumpkin. So I got a dozen cans of this while it was on sale, and it's a good price. It'll last a long time. I might even go grab more. And then here's another thing I got. So it's not really bug season, but I found these on clearance. And so this is another good thing to check out any time of year, is to check out what kind of seasonal things are going on clearance. So these, obviously summer is over. These are some things that Walmart was getting rid of. These are the kind of things you should never have to pay full price for, because you can always usually find them on clearance after the season's over. So besides looking for what items go on sale in any particular season, check out the previous season's clearance. Like the pasta that I found earlier, this was a fall special limited edition item. So I was able to get a really good deal on that because fall's over. I have found all different sorts of products on clearance after the holidays. You can find things like that pasta. I have found breakfast cereals. I have found oatmeals, pancake mixes, things like that. Sometimes they might be pumpkin spice flavored or something, but they're still good and they're usually really cheap. So check it out and see what you can find in your clearance aisle, because it can help you bulk up your pantry for a little bit less. Now back here in this canvas bag, this is full of wool dryer balls. So this is something, I've had a few little dryer balls here and there, but they usually end up getting lost somehow. They end up in somebody's laundry basket that goes to their room and I never see it again. So this is a set of like a whole bunch. I think it's at least a dozen. So this can help you if you're trying to get like toxic chemicals out of your home. This can help you not have to use a fabric softener and dryer sheets as much, especially the dryer sheets. This goes into your dryer and it kind of tosses around with your laundry and it fluffs it up and helps keep static out and helps it dry faster by all the motions of banging it around. And it helps to soften it without using fabric softener, because a lot of those have some pretty nasty toxic chemicals in it. And when you put that stuff on your clothing, then, you know, you're wrapping it in your body, like when you put it on. So I'm wanting to move to using these, and I figured buying a big bag of them will hopefully help me keep track of them. I've also seen where people will put a drop of essential oil in the balls to add some scent that's a little bit more natural and less toxic into their laundry. So I really want to try that. I'm just a little nervous that the essential oil could cause a stain or something like that. So I haven't dared to try it yet, but I'm going to try it pretty soon. So I did order some dryer balls like this that come with like a little silicone web around them. It's supposed to, I think, protect your clothes from the fuzz as well. And I'm thinking maybe, you know, protect them from the essential oil if I do try that. So I'm going to get brave pretty soon. I just haven't yet, because I love scents and I love seasonal scents. So to be able to throw like an essential oil scent that makes me feel like the season into my laundry, I think is going to really be good. Now back here, I've got some more of the bins I use in my pantry. I like to have plenty of bins on hand so that when I have something to put away, I have what I need right then. So anytime I get low on these, I'll buy a few more. Sometimes I can find a 4-pack of these, and that's the best way to buy them, but I haven't been able to get it lately. So this is a pretty big, good, deep bin, and it fills my shelves. And it's good for keeping like a lot of similar items together if I don't have enough to make just a row on my shelf. And then these bins here, these are really long, narrow bins that I use on my shelves to contain certain things like pouches of rice mixes, for instance. If I have a whole bunch of them, instead of just standing them on the shelf, I will put them into a bin like this, and that way I can slide the whole bin out, and it helps me be able to rotate things better, put new things in the back. It also helps if I have like a bunch of different flavors and I put them all together, then I can pull the whole bin out and go through them. So I use these for a ton of things, but here's the thing. See, I usually use the gray ones, and I ordered a pack of, I think it's 6, and it's supposed to be gray ones, and it showed up and they are white. So I am returning these, and they're sending me some gray ones, but I just kind of, honestly, if I'd have known there was white when I first started, I might have gone with the white. So I thought I would show you guys this in case there's anybody that's thinking about getting bins like these and might prefer the white ones. They do come in white. So I'll try to link to these down in the video description as well. And then one final thing I found lurking back there is this box of batteries. I usually get my batteries from the Amazon Basics brand. It seems to be the cheapest way for me to buy batteries. We've been pretty happy with them. I haven't noticed them, dying sooner or anything. This is 100. It's cheapest per battery when you buy the bigger pack, obviously. And we use double A. It's our most commonly used size, so we use a lot of them. So this 100-pack certainly won't last forever. So this is a really good deal on batteries, and it's always good to have a good supply of batteries. I keep my battery daddy full all the time if I can. Especially around the holidays, you're going to use a lot more batteries. All right, now let's try, taste, test, and demo some of these items. A couple of things I definitely want to taste test is this hot honey mac and cheese and these rice bowls. So I'm going to put on a kettle of hot water to make the rice bowl with. Let me just look at the instructions. Ooh, it does say microwave. So this says room temperature water and stir. I'm pretty sure I can do it with boiling water, which would be a lot more emergency friendly. So I'm going to try it that way. And I'm going to put on a pot of water to boil for this. So while we're waiting for the water, I've got a couple of other things that I'm going to demo. And one is going to be these good zymes, the digestive enzymes. I'm going to show you something with these. So what this does is this helps to break down all of those parts of the food, the starches, the fat, the dairy. It helps us to break them down and digest them better and easier. And it also increases the nutrient availability. It increases the amount of nutrients that our body's able to get out of that food as it digests, because it has that assistance there. And then it's also can be soothing to the gut and stomach. So, a lot of people struggle with gut health, and gut health is so important because it controls our immune system. It really controls everything. And so it's really, really important. So we really like to have this on hand. So I've got 2 bowls here. 2 bowls. I've got 2 spoons. And I've got a can of Campbell's soup. I think there's a lot of people who are probably not going to be using their Campbell's soup anymore after the controversy that's gone on. So this is cheddar cheese soup because it's one that's really thick and gloopy, but it's got a lot of different things in it. It's got dairy, it's got fats, it's got starches and things like that. So I'm going to divide the soup between these 2 bowls. And this soup is looking extra especially gloopy because I think it's been in the pantry a little bit too long. So I've got my 2 bowls of Campbell's soup, and they're pretty gloopy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these good zymes, and you can see it is a capsule, so I can pretty easily open it up, and I'm going to put it into this one soup over here. Just empty the contents of the capsule right in there. And so this is just going to kind of represent what this does in your stomach as you're digesting. So I'm going to just start mixing this around, and I'm going to mix around both bowls of soup just so that it's pretty clear that it's the action of the enzymes and not the stirring itself. It's kind of hard. I'm not ambidextrous here, so I don't know if you can see that it's starting to get a lot more liquidy. I'm going to give this some stirs with 2 hands because I really can't. You can just see this breaking down in the bowl here. It's getting a lot more liquidy. It's a lot easier to stir, but that's because it is turning into a much more liquidy mixture. I'm going to be careful because I'm starting to splash it, which means I'm going to end up getting the enzymes into this bowl. Now you can definitely see the difference already between these two bowls of soup, but I am going to go ahead. You can see how much this one has broken down compared to this one. This is still just chunks. They've gotten a little smaller because I've been stirring them, but they have not become liquidy at all. So you can see this one is much more liquidy than chunky because those enzymes are breaking down the ingredients in this soup. And this is the same thing that it would be doing inside your stomach. And it's going to help your body to digest, and it's going to help to make the nutrients in the food to be more bioavailable, more able to be digested and absorbed by your body. So that is, and then it's also going to help with stomach upset and help soothe your stomach and keep your gut going smoothly. I wish you could see the difference up close and personal. You can see that's still all clumps. This is broken down into liquid. I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes and come right back. All right, 5 minutes has passed, so I'm going to show you the difference. Let me give them each another stir. You can see this is continuing to break down and disintegrate, so it's completely liquid and breaking down into components. And you can see the difference. This is the one with no good zymes. It's still completely thick, chunky, no liquid. This is the one that had the good zymes. It is completely broken down. Now, of course, this is going to work in conjunction with all of the things your body already does to break down food. Some people's bodies need a little more help than others, but all of us can use a little bit of extra help to getting our food digested, getting our food broken down, and helping our body absorb the nutrients. Super incredible product. Next, I want to do a little demo of this FiberWise that I love so much. So I've got a canister here that I had opened that I've been using, and then I've got another common fiber that people use. It's a very common national brand fiber, Benefiber, and then I've got the FiberWise. And then I've also got some oil here. So this is canola oil. This is the oil that nobody really wants to use anymore. And I've got cold water in these mason jars. I've got mason jars so they're clear so you can see them. And I'm going to go ahead and put 2 tablespoons of oil into each mason jar. And this oil is representing the fats and toxins in your system, in your digestive system, in your body. So I'm going to go ahead and put a serving of each of these into these cups. In fact, I can actually probably put a little more oil in these. I think I can go with the whole 4 tablespoons. 2 more, 2 more. All right, so into this one, I'm going to put 1 serving of Benefiber. So that's one of these stick packs. It is pretty handy that they come in stick packs, but actually the FiberWise does too. I just only use those when we travel. It's usually more expensive to get things in a stick pack. So here goes the Benefiber. And now I'm going to do a serving of the FiberWise. So that is, where's my scoop? 2 scoops of FiberWise is a serving. There's 1 scoop and 2 scoops. And now I'm going to go ahead and just give these a mix. All right, now let's see what we can see. So let me bring you up closer here. Can you see how the oil is still all floating on the top in this bottle, this jar with the FiberWise? It has not been absorbed at all. So yeah, you can see the big difference. The oil slick is still all up here. The fiber has dissolved in here, but it has not absorbed the oil. Whereas look at the difference in this one. I'm going to bring you up here for a different view. All that oil just sitting there on top. And in this one, it is all absorbed with the fiber. So that fiber would be carrying that, flushing that out of your body. And that is why it is so good for your gut health and your heart health and all of those things. All right, here is my rice bowl. I've taken off the plastic. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Okay, it does have a separate packet of the seasoning, the flavor packet, just like a ramen. And this is definitely instant rice, so this is going to be no problem I think, to cook with boiling water. There is a line. You probably can't see it, but there's a water line on the inside. I'm going to go ahead and pour in they call it the soup packet. So I don't think this is going to be soupy. I think it's just going to be rice, but we'll see. Hopefully it's not going to be soupy, like a chicken and rice soup. Now I imagine that this is going to be pretty strong and salty, so I figure you could always add less of the packet if you don't like things so salty. I've got my water here. I can barely see that line. I know it's there. I think that's it. Now that I got the water in, it wants me to stir around the seasoning. So now it smells just like ramen. So I think it is just ramen seasoning in instant rice. So I'm going to hold down this lid. And I'm not following the instructions, obviously, since it wants me to put it in the microwave. So I'm not sure how long to do this for. I'm going to check it after 5 minutes. And then if it needs a little bit longer, I'll let it go to 10. All right. It has been 5 minutes. So let's see how this is looking after 5 minutes. Ooh, I can still see some water in there. So I'm going to give it a stir and let it set for another 5, but it's looking pretty good. All right, it has been 10 minutes, so I'm going to check it again. If there is any liquid left, we're just going to have to eat it with the liquid. So there's a little bit of liquid, but the rice is soft. I think I just put a little too much water. Just a little too much. There's just a tiny bit of extra, so it is fine. I'm going to give this a try. Here it is. That's really tasty. It's really good. It's not super salty. I mean, it's salty, but it's not like overly salty. Not even really as salty as ramen, I don't think, when I do the ramen without the liquid. So it's really good. It's not quite like rice-a-roni. It's just a bowl of chicken flavored rice. It's actually really good. And I think this would be a really good, it worked really well with just the boiling water. So I think this would be a great thing to have on hand for a really quick meal in an emergency, or, you know, anytime you needed a quick meal. It's a really pretty big bowl. So I think that would give you a pretty good meal in your belly. And you could always dump a few extras in here if you wanted, like a small can of canned chicken maybe, or a little cup of vegetables. So pretty good. All right, now I'm going to try this hot honey mac and cheese. All right, so here it is. Here's the hot honey mac and cheese. Hot honey meaning spicy, so hopefully it's not too spicy. It's a little spicy. I'm not tasting really the honey part of it. I don't taste anything sweet. I just taste spicy. It's not my favorite. It's pretty spicy. I mean, it's not ridiculously spicy. I'm not a weenie, but I just don't, it's just the spice. I don't taste any of the honey or anything like that. So I don't know. This would not be my favorite. It's not terrible, but unless you just like things spicy, I don't know. Nothing special about this one. We'll see if Mr. Wicked Prepared will eat it. Well, the hot honey definitely wasn't what I expected. Mr. Wicked Prepared said it's pretty good. He said he tastes a little sweet in it. I didn't really taste sweet, which is what I expected. And he said the heat in that one is not as unbearable as he thought it was in the jalapeno version. So he's eating it. He thinks it's okay. Not my favorite, not what I expected. Now I'm going to try these new freeze-dried fruits and vegetables. All right, I've got the seasoned corn. All right, so the corn, here goes. This is sriracha season, so it could be a little spicy because sriracha is spicy, but I do like sriracha, so. This is really good. It's a little spicy, but not too spicy, but it's got a really good seasoning and it's delicious, but the corn is sweet. The seasoning's a little bit salty and a little bit spicy, so it's a really good, like, combination. That is really good. I would totally snack on that instead of popcorn. And also these would be really good on a salad. I've had freeze-dried corn on salads, not seasoned. I think the seasoned corn on a salad would be really good. It gives a nice crunch, kind of like croutons, but not. Super good. I also think this would be a really good gift for somebody, like a little snack kind of gift basket of somebody who likes things. It is a little spicy. I'm noticing it a little bit more afterwards. Like, I didn't notice it as much when I was first eating it, but you notice it a little bit more afterwards. A little spicy, but good. All right, I've got the sugar snap peas. It is the whole pea. All right, so now these snap peas. So this is not like the snap pea crisps that you get at the store, which is like snap pea shaped and it looks like a snap pea, and it does have snap peas in it, but it's got other stuff like potato. It's more like a chip. So these are literally just the snap peas. So I'm gonna try this littler one here. Ooh, salty. I didn't expect it to be salty. I didn't think that these were seasoned. So it does have, if you can see that, sugar, snap peas, and sea salt. So that's, I didn't expect that. I expected it to be just a snap pea. So that's a little salty for me because I don't know, I'm used to snacking on like fresh sugar snap peas just straight out of the bag or straight out of the garden. And so having the salt on there, I think I'd enjoy them more without the salt. If you like salty snacks, like I think these are even, they taste a little saltier to me than maybe even those snap pea crisps, those chip type of things from the grocery store. So this is not my favorite. It's going to depend on how salty you like things. They do have 6 grams of fiber per serving. So, and the sodium is 190 milligrams. So I don't really know. I don't pay attention to sodium much, so I don't know how that kind of adds up. They do have a lot of fiber. So if you do like salty, crunchy snacks like chips, these might be something you would like. And they'd be a lot healthier than chips. The corn actually has 3 grams of fiber now that I look at it, and I prefer the corn. I was hoping that these would be just the peas and then they'd be able to be used in recipes and things too. And maybe they could be used in a recipe because you might put salt in your recipe. So I'll have to try them in recipes and see, because I don't know if I would just snack on these because of the saltiness. They're a little too salty for me. Now I've got the freeze-dried figs. So these are slices from the whole fig. They do include the peel and everything. So they've got all of the nutritional parts in there. I remember eating figs with my mother when I was a child, and I think they were, like I said, I think they were dried. They were more brown and shrivelly than this, so I think this is going to be a little bit different. I've got a small piece here, so I'm going to try this small piece. That is really good, actually. And get another small piece. One nice thing about this is the pieces are pretty intact. There's not a lot of broken pieces in here. There's really no broken pieces at all. I actually might break this one. You can see how crisp these are, just like a chip. If you've never had freeze-dried fruits and vegetables, they are super light and crisp and just really kind of pleasant. Figs are good. And I didn't know, actually, until very recently, that figs are actually a superfood. They have all kinds of nutrition. I did not realize that. These have 4 grams of fiber, but they've got a whole bunch of minerals and nutrients. So I did not realize that figs were a superfood. So this is going to be a really good snack. I'll have to see if the kids will eat these. But I am going to be giving some of these probably to my mom as part of her Christmas gift. Because like I said, I remember eating figs with my mom. That's the only time in my life I think I've ever eaten figs. And like I mentioned, I bought a multi-pack of these. So there's 4 items. I think there was 5 bags of each. So I think it was a 20 pack because it was a savings. And that way I knew I'd have enough for gifting, and they're just snack size bags. So I knew we'd probably want more than 1 bag for ourselves if we ended up liking it. So these figs are really good. These are going to be gifted and eaten. And finally, I've got the freeze-dried lemons, lemon slices. So these are also whole slices or thin slices from the whole lemon. And everything is in there. The seeds, the peel, the pith, everything is included. So it's just a complete slice of lemon. So this literally is just a slice of lemon. I'm going to break, so you can break these super easily. In fact, I have some friends who had gotten these before me, and they were crunching them up into their drink, they said, instead of just laying the whole slice in, either breaking them into pieces like this or totally crumbling them into their drink because they really like the lemon flavor. I know this is going to be really tart and sour. This is literally just a lemon. There's no sugar. That's not really intended, I don't think, to be eaten just on its own, but I am going to give it a little try. And then other than that, I'm going to be using these in drinks. They could be used in simmer pots. Like I said, I think with seafood and chicken dishes as part of the dish, they're going to be a really good flavor, but I probably won't be eating them plain. All right. Ooh, That's really, really tart. Really tart, but it's a lemon. It tastes like a lemon. So I think these are going to be really awesome. I was really excited about these. I'm excited to try these in drinks and things like that. One thing I do want to try is using these in a recipe. So I'm going to do that really quickly. Not really a recipe, just like a cooked food. So this is something that I got in a previous haul. This is uncooked freeze-dried salmon fillets. And this was kind of the first thing I thought of when I thought of these lemon slices. I thought of the lemon on salmon because that is something I like to do. Put lemon slices on my salmon when I cook it. And the other thing is when I got this lemony dill seasoning, I also thought instantly of salmon. So I'm going to give all these items a try together. All right, so let's see. I'm going to take out a piece of salmon and I'm going to go ahead and put it into this bowl because I need to rehydrate this in cold water. I do want to add some lemon onto it though. So I guess I could just do one lemon slice right in the middle because that actually looks nice. I was thinking I could take some of the broken pieces that I broke and fill in the edges, but I'm just going to go with the one slice. These slices are pretty big, so that actually almost covers that whole salmon fillet. Now I'm not going to add the seasoning until after this has been refreshed because it would just get washed off in the water. So I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to go ahead and pour some cold water in here. I don't know if this is going to float. Sometimes things will float and I kind of have to submerge them with something, but this is going to float a little bit. Now, I don't think it would be a huge deal if this floated like this. I do think it would continue to absorb the water, but I am going to place this fork on it just to hold it down a little bit. And I'm not sure how long this is going to take, so I'm just going to go ahead and set a stopwatch going or a timer or something and just check on it and see when it seems to be ready. So I can't wait to see you back here when it is. All right, it's been about an hour and this fish feels pretty tender. Like it feels like I'm not really sure how to tell if it's gotten the moisture all the way through to the center without cutting into it, which I don't want to do because I don't want to spoil my beautiful piece of salmon. So I'm going to go for it. So I've got a little Pyrex dish here that's perfect for small things like this. I got this because it fits really nicely in my sous vide. And I'm going to just spritz it with some avocado oil. And I'm going to go ahead and lift this out of the water. I'm going to set it in here. Now I'm going to remove this lemon slice for just a minute because I want to put my seasoning directly on my salmon. So I'm going to use the lemony dill. Oh, that smells amazing. I absolutely love dill. Let's see if I can get this sprinkled on here. And now I'm just going to go ahead and lay my lemon slice right back across the top of the salmon. And I'm going to bake this the way that I like to bake my salmon, which I read this a long time ago. It said perfect salmon every time, and it never fails me. So I'm going to put it in the cold oven, set the oven to 400, and set a timer for 25 minutes. So I'll see you back here when it's done, and we'll see how this comes out. All right, so this smells amazing. I can see that the lemon got a little bit toasty on the top, but the rest of it looks absolutely fantastic. So let's just see how this came out. It looks flaky. I'm going to give it a try. That is really good. It tastes like salmon. I think I would have possibly let it go a little bit longer on the soaking portion and gotten a little bit more moisture into it, or maybe poked some holes through to get that moisture all the way through. But it tastes just like I had cooked fresh salmon. Just could use a little bit more juiciness and moisture. I think actually if I had just put a little bit of the soaking liquid into the pan as it was cooking to just keep that moisture in there, that would have done it. But this is amazing. The texture, the taste, everything is just like having fresh salmon. The seasoning is really, really good on this. The lemon, as the lemon soaked in the water with that salmon, it kind of infused that water with a little bit of a lemon taste. And so that kind of infused all through the salmon. So I am really impressed. Like I said, I would have to do a little bit either more soaking or add a little bit of liquid to the pan in the cooking next time I try this. But this is really, really good. This is going to beat canned salmon anytime in your prepper pantry. You know, one thing I did notice about some of these new products is that some of the bags are not very full. Now, I do understand that the bags are filled by weight, and this company sells everything in set weights. So they have 1 ounce bags and they have 8 ounce bags. So obviously certain foods are going to be denser and heavier. So like a smaller amount is going to weigh 1 ounce or 8 ounces. And people hear 1 ounce and 8 ounces and they think that's not very much. But when it comes to freeze-dried food, because probably about 3/4 of the weight is removed when the water's removed, freeze-dried food weighs almost nothing. So an ounce of something is a lot more than you would think if you're thinking in terms of fresh. So you really have to kind of just let go of all those thoughts in your head that you know the way that you understand weights and foods. I did notice that they made the bags for these new items larger than the 1 ounce bags that they had previously. So it's a larger bag to hold the same weight of food. Not sure why. Not sure if they really thought they needed to package that extra air cushion in there to keep the food from getting like damaged in transport, because freeze-dried food, especially fruits and vegetables, also are super, super delicate. They're very delicate. They can crumble and break easily, like I showed you. So that was the one thing, is like, I feel like maybe the weights should vary and the bags should be filled to just a certain level, or maybe they could go back to the smaller bags. Maybe some of the items were going to be so bulky, like the lemon slices, for instance, they fill the bag up a lot more. They're big slices and they're, you know, bulkier. So maybe knowing that, they knew they would need bigger bags for some items. So they went with bigger bags for all of the items. But that was just something that I noticed when we opened these up, was that some of the bags were not filled very much, and I feel like they could have gone with a smaller bag. Which demo did you like best? Is there anything you saw today that you're curious to try? During this season of giving, think about who on your list might enjoy a gift that would leave them better prepared for unexpected emergencies or disasters. Do you have loved ones on your list this year who maybe wouldn't or couldn't do it for themselves, but could really use and appreciate something? Whether it's some shelf-stable meals, like meals in a bag or meals in a jar, or a piece of gear like an emergency stove or heater. Even for kids, sometimes preparedness gifts can be fun. My kids usually always got flashlights, headlamps, glow sticks, and things like that in their stockings. One year I gave little backpacks with hydration bladders to all my kids and nieces and nephews, and I filled them up with little things like flashlights, emergency blankets, whistles, things like that. And these were things that they were able to use for hikes and camping trips that we did throughout the year, as well as things like scout activities. So it wasn't really about scaring them into what might happen, but it was just about giving them something they could use, but would also be good for preparedness. They would definitely also come in handy during an emergency or as the basis of a bug out bag. Let me know down in the comments if you've ever given gifts like these, or if you plan to this year. Don't forget to check out down below for links to anything that I've talked about today, as well as any discount codes that I might have for you. I'll put it all down in the video description. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me a gift emoji down in the comments, and check out this video next for some cozy soup meals in a jar that would make wonderful gifts. I'm Jera with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time.